and welcome to First Chapter Friday. So, since Halloween is tomorrow, I figured we could do a special version of First Chapter Friday. So instead of reading the first chapter of a spooky story, I'm going to read a spooky story to you guys from one of my favorite anthologies, which is Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. So today I'm going to be reading you two short stories. So the first one we have is The Girl Who Stood on a Grave. Some boys and girls were at a party one night. There was a graveyard down the street, and they were talking about how scary it was. "Don't ever stand on a grave after dark," one of the boys said. "The person inside will grab you. He'll pull you under." "That's not true," one of the girls said. "It's just a superstition." "I'll give you $1 if you stand on a grave," said the boy. "A grave doesn't scare me," said the girl. "I'll do it right now." The boy handed her his knife. "Stick this knife in one of the graves," he said. "Then we'll know you were there." The graveyard was filled with shadows and was as quiet as death. "There's nothing to be scared of," the girl told herself, but she was scared anyway. She picked out a grave and stood on it. Then quickly she bent over and plunged the knife into the soil, and she started to leave. But she couldn't get away. Something was holding her back. She tried a second time to leave, but she couldn't move. She was filled with terror. "Somebody's got me," she screamed, and she fell to the ground. When she didn't come back, the others went to look for her. They found her body sprawled across the grave. Without realizing it, she had plunged the knife through her skirt and pinned it to the ground. It was only the knife that had held her. She had died of fright. That was a pretty good one, right? Yeah. Okay, so let's move on to the next one, which is called Room for One More. A man named Joseph Blackwell came to Philadelphia on a business trip. He stayed with friends in the big house they owned outside the city. That night, they had a good time visiting. But when Blackwell went to bed, he tossed and turned and couldn't sleep. Sometime during the night, he heard a car turn into the driveway. He went to the window to see who was arriving at such a late hour. In the moonlight, he saw a long black hearse filled with people. The driver of the hearse looked up at him. When Blackwell saw this weird, hideous face, he shuddered. The driver called to him, "There's room for one more." And then he waited for a minute or two, and he drove off. In the morning, Blackwell told his friends what had happened. "You were dreaming," they said. "I must have been," he said, "but it didn't seem like a dream." After breakfast, he went into Philadelphia. He spent the day high above the city in one of the new office buildings there. Late in the afternoon, he was waiting for an elevator to take him back down to the street. But when it arrived, it was very crowded. One of the passengers looked out and called to him. "There's room for one more," he said. It was the driver of the hearse. "No thanks," said Blackwell. "I'll get the next one." The doors closed, and the elevator started down. There was a shrieking and a screaming, and then the sound of a crash. The elevator had fallen to the bottom of the shaft. Everyone aboard was killed. Spooky. Okay, so that is all I have for you guys. I hope you have a great Halloween. Remember that tomorrow is the live stream, so if you wish to join me for that, it starts at about noon right here on my channel. So, thank you very much. Make sure you are safe, whether you go trick-or-treating or not. Happy Halloween. Bye.